Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's talk about Interglobe Aviation. We knew there was a block deal that was going to be happen, and seems like that's happened as well today.
In fact, Vinny, one of the most crucial points is the block deal has happened. The size of the block deal is India's biggest block deal that is witnessed since 2019. So that's that big size of a block deal. Yes.
Biggest, so surely a one to watch out for. But Ankita, take us through those details of the block deals.
Big block deal happening coming in for Interglobe Aviation. Indigo's co-founder Rakesh Gangwal is believed to have sold around 2.6 crore shares or 6.7% equity in a block deal worth over 7,000 crore rupees of the airline in a large block deal that's come in. Now, details of the transaction would be known only the evening hours now once the block deal data comes in on the exchanges. But Gangwal is cashing in, with the stock trading near record high. In fact, the stock was down in the morning, but it is now inched up to almost gains of 4% right now. Also, if you remember, there were a couple of Rakesh Gangwal had stepped down in February 2022 and announced plans to dilute his family's stake. Also, in February, he had sold 4% stake for about 2,900 crore rupees and again sold a 2.8% stake worth 2,000 crore rupees in September. In August, also, his family had divested a stake worth $540 million. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are the investment bankers advising Rakesh Gangwal and his family trust that collectively owns around 25% equity in Interglobe Aviation, and big block deal coming in for Indigo today. And as you can see, the stock is up 4% in trade right now.
Right, that is Indigo for you. That is in focus on back of that block deal taking place today. The key would be to note who are the buyers in the block deal, because we know who is the seller in the block deal. But Ansh, coming to you, let's talk about RVNL and why is this one in focus today? Is it only a single order or multiple orders?
So the stock is actually up by over 4%, and yes, it's on the back of order and actually multiple orders. But starting with the first one, they received LOA from Mr. MP Purv Kshetri Vidyut Vitran Company Limited, and the project involves supplying, installation, testing and commissioning of 11 kV line associated work, period for which is around 24 months. And the second letter of award they have received from Himachal Pradesh State Electricity Board for development of distribution infrastructure at South Zone of Himachal Pradesh under the revamped reforms, and the project cost for which is around 888 crore with a time period of 24 months. And similar to this one, they have also received one more letter of award from Himachal Pradesh State Board only for development of distribution, and this one is for the North Zone. The project cost for which is around 409 crore with a time period of 24 months. And also, if you see on the chart, the stock seems to have given a good breakout from its falling wedge chart pattern along with strong volumes of over 6x if we compare it from 10 session average trading volume.
All right, that is RVNL for you. Let's put the spotlight on another PSU counter then. And yes, NLC India is the stock that is in focus. There's not only one news flow, there are multiple news flows actually supporting that particular price action in today's trading session, Vinny. One of them being that the company has actually signed an MOU with the government of Rajasthan. This in order to form a JV for setting up 2 projects in the state. As per the MOU between the company and Rajasthan Rajya Vidyut Utpadan Nigam. This is for setting up of about 125 megawatt lignite-based thermal power plant in Bikaner district, and also a 1,000 megawatt solar power plant, which entails an investment of more than 7,000 crore rupees. Apart from this, the government has also decided to exercise the green shoe option and sell an additional 27.7 million shares or about 2% stake in NLC India, this via an OFS. Remember that on Thursday, the non-retail investors subscribed about 2.92 times the base size of about 62.4 million shares of the government stake in NLC, which is on OFS. So yes, on back of that, you have NLC that is in focus in today's trading session.
Okay, we surely have NLC that is in focus today, but let's put focus on the OMCs as well and what they are doing as well. Now, OMCs, why are they in focus? Because PM Modi announced over the weekend that LNG prices, they'll be cutting it by rupees... LPG prices, I beg your pardon. LPG prices is what they'll be cutting by rupees 100 per cylinder. Now, how does this impact the OMCs? Now, incrementally, it's a bit negative for the OMCs. This could increase the under recovery on LPG LPG from current 150 rupees to rupees 250. And earnings impact, obviously, what would that be is not going to be visible in Q4 FY24. But at OMCs, they have reported over recoveries in FY24. But what will happen is that LPG prices that is sustaining the current levels globally, FY25 profitability, that could be something that could be seeing an impact. So Q4 FY24 maybe nothing that we'll see. But going forward next year is something where we could start seeing the impact as well. While obviously a bit on the positive side that we could talk about, LPG prices usually fall in summer. So if the same happens, the impact would be limited. So let's hope for that. If that works out, then it will be fine for OMCs. But otherwise, today we're seeing a slight bit of a subduedness coming in HPCL, BPCL, IOC. Nothing exciting in terms of our up move. 3/10 to 7/10% of up move is what they're seeing as of now.
All right, that's OMCs that are in focus in today's trading session. We're moving on. Ankita, let's talk about PNC Infra and why is this stock in focus today?
PNC Infra is in focus today because it has executed an agreement between MP Road Development Corporation and the company's special purpose vehicle Western Bhopal bypass to implement a hybrid annuity mode project. Now, the 1,174 crore rupees contract pertains to construction of the Western Bhopal bypass as a 4-lane in Madhya Pradesh. Also, in addition, PNC Infratech has obtained the completion certificate for constructing the NH56 4-lane bypass in Uttar Pradesh, and the contract completion, was valued at 1,000 crore rupees, and that's the news flow coming in on PNC Infra. In fact, the stock is trading pretty flat right now. It has eased off the morning gains, currently trading towards the day's lowest point.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock and let's bring on board Sameet now. Sameet Chavan joining in with us on the technicals as well. Sameet, good afternoon, and you've picked out ONGC for us in terms of the charts. What's the view on this one and where do you see it headed now?
Good afternoon. Overall, if you see, ONGC has been stellar outperformer in last 2 to 3 months. Stock has already given a massive surge from the levels of 190 towards 280, 285 levels now. But considering last 3 sessions, price action, it seems that at a higher level, the stock is likely to feel some sort of exhaustion. So although the overall undertone remains strongly bullish, with the short-term view, we would expect some consolidation in this counter. So on the higher side, it would be a challenging task to surpass the recent highs of 285, 290, and we would expect the stock gyrate in the range of 285, 290 on the higher side and 260 on the lower side. So we expect some consolidation with a slight hint of profit booking, at least in the near term.
So that's the view coming in on ONGC. Ansh, coming to you, then let's talk about Torrent Pharma and why is this particular stock in focus today?
Actually up 7% in the morning, but now still it's in green, which is up by around 4%. So actually the company has received a letter of award from Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company for setting up 306 megawatt grid connected solar PV project in Nasik, the tariff for which is 3.1 per kilowatt per hour. The project cost for which is around 1,540 crore, and the project shall be commissioned within 18 months from the letter of award, and the contract period for which shall be around 25 years. Also, if you see on the chart, the stock seems to have given over 20% return on year-to-date basis. Also, it has given a good decisive breakout from its reverse head and shoulder chart pattern today.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Torrent Power and why that one is in focus. But let's put the spotlight on PSU banking major SBI, which is under pressure in today's trading session. Multiple news flows that could be one of the reasons why SBI is seeing that downtick. First, let's talk about the Bernstein report. It's come out with a report this morning, actually, Vinny, where they are actually saying it is time to switch back to Indian private banks. And not just that, Bernstein actually has gone ahead and downgraded SBI. What Bernstein is saying, a less promising earnings trajectory. This is due to the weaker deposit growth and lower liquidity buffers, which means it is time to switch back to Indian private banks from PSU banks. They're saying that the PSU banks have actually outperformed private sector banks in the last 3 years, which we all have witnessed actually over the last 1 year itself. They're also saying the era of superior earnings growth in the PSU banks is actually now set to end. They're saying that the PSB's earnings growth rate, loan growth will moderate very sharply and fall behind that of private banks, and that's why one of the reasons why they've gone ahead and they have downgraded actually SBI to market perform. They're saying they see limited upside for the stock from here on. But one of the reasons why the stock actually saw a downtick towards 12 o'clock or so is because you had the Supreme Court verdict also that came out on the electoral bonds, where they have actually told SBI, or rather dismissed SBI's plea for an extension of timeline to submit the details. They have asked SBI to go ahead and submit the details by March 12th, which is tomorrow, and the Election Commission is supposed to put those electoral bond details, whichever SBI will be giving them, on the website by March 15. So that's also one of the reasons why you could say the SBI is a little bit under pressure in trade.
Okay. That is SBI on fundamentals news flows. But Sameet, you too have picked out SBI. Is your view similar to what Bernstein is saying as well? And do you think maybe time to switch back to those private banks?
At least in the near term, yes, I would agree. And overall, if you see, the prices are a bit overstretched. As far as SBI is concerned, we have already seen massive vertical rise from the levels of 600, 620 towards 800 now. So at higher levels, 800 seems to be a daunting task now. At least in the near term, we do not see this stock surpassing 800. So we would see some consolidation and some profit booking at higher levels. Probably in coming days, we would see the stock gradually retesting the important support levels of 760 first, and then probably 740, 740.
Alright, so that's the trade coming in on SBI. But on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. Lots of stock to discuss on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now, and let's put the spotlight on Shree Cement. Sameet, coming to you, Shree Cement. If you look at the stock performance, year to date has been little weak coming in for Shree Cement. Even the last 6 months also has not been that great. Do you think the stock has now made a bottom and it will move upwards, or do you see some more pressure for Shree Cement going ahead?
See, it would be too early to take that call whether the stock has bottomed out or not. But yes, certainly stock has found support around its previous important support levels of 24,000, 24,200, and since morning we are seeing good traction in this counter. So considering the price and volume activity today, it seems that the fall has been arrested for a while. Now we'll have to see whether the stock manages to surpass 26,500 or not. If that happens, then yes, that would be a confirmation of the trend reversal, and then probably stock can head higher. But as of now, yes, there's some respite to the recent sell-off that we have witnessed over the past 1.5 months. So for a time being, 24,500 is likely to act as a very strong support, and on the higher side, there's a challenge around 26,000, 26,500.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock, and this surely works out in that premiumization category which we're seeing, and that is Ethos. That's in focus because we have a brokerage note that has come in from MK. They are saying that this should be a key beneficiary of the reduction that has come in terms of the import duties that we have seen, and this is obviously going to be a huge upside for these retail peers as well compared to them, and they believe that around 100 basis points in terms of the margins benefit is likely to push up the earnings for the company in terms of the return estimates as well, return on equity estimates also by around 10%, and they're depicting a plan for the own brands which is there as well as ramp up provides an upside for the company of 10%. So yes, that premiumization trend may be something that is continuing, plus all these positives that will come out in terms of reduction for import duties does work out well for Ethos. They do have luxury watches as well, which they said.
So this will be pertaining to the trade or free trade agreement that they signed yesterday.
Yes, it's because of that, and because of that there'll be a support coming in for these companies as well. The strong CAGR growth is what one could expect, is what MK is highlighting. 25% CAGR growth over the medium term is what one could watch out for. Opened with strong gains as of now, with the markets a bit of a subduedness is what we're saying.
Absolutely. It also was there, a beat on that note. No doubt is off the day's highest point. But coming to you, Ansh, let's talk about HG Infra, and why is this particular stock in focus?
So the stock was up by 2.3% in the morning, but now it's still in gains by 1%, and actually they have been declared as L1 bidder by the National Highway Authority of India, and the size of the order is around 862 crore, and the construction period for which is around 24 months. Now they have received one more order from NHAI for 610 crore, the period for which is around 30 months. But if we see on chart, then the stock seems to be struck between the symmetrical pattern, because it has been hovering around that 200 DMA average.
Okay, and with that was the last stock for today. So thank you so much, Ansh, Ankita, Sameet, as well as Aditya for joining in with us on Market Fatafat.